The pen felt heavier than it should have, like it knew what this signature would cost me. Across the dining table, Marcus watched me, relaxed, confident, smug, as if the ending had already been written in his favor. "Sign it," he said calmly, "or I'll make sure this divorce drags on for years." I looked at the paper, then at the man I once loved, and realized something terrifying. He wasn't angry. He was certain, so I signed. I placed my keys beside the document, stood up from the table, and walked out of my own penthouse without looking back. The next morning, his attorney called him screaming, asking if he had any idea what he had just allowed me to do. But the truth is, this didn't begin with that signature. It began 6 years earlier under crystal chandeliers at a charity gala in downtown Seattle. I was 32, newly promoted to lead architect, finally feeling like my sacrifices meant something. Marcus found me near the silent auction table, perfect suit, perfect smile, talking about a tech startup that was supposedly going to change the construction industry. Looking back, the warning signs were everywhere. The constant name-dropping, the vague answers about what his company actually did, the way he insisted on splitting every bill in the name of equality, even though his credit cards were already maxed out. But I was lonely. I had spent my 20s working 80-hour weeks, choosing blueprints over birthdays, promotions over relationships. Marcus made me feel noticed. He remembered my favorite wine. He asked about my day. He showed up with lunch when I forgot to eat. 18 months later, we were married. My mother wasn't there to see it. She had passed 2 years earlier, but she left me 3 things that meant everything. Her vintage Cartier watch from the 1950s, her watercolor paintings, pieces of her soul framed in wood and glass, and a handwritten letter telling me one thing: never let anyone dim your light. The watch stayed in my bedroom safe. The paintings filled our penthouse with warmth. The letter lived in my nightstand, a quiet reminder of who I was. The first year of marriage felt safe. Marcus was affectionate, optimistic, full of big plans. I didn't mind paying the bills while he built his future. That's what partners do, or so I believed. I had no idea that what I was really funding was the slow erasure of myself. By the second year, the cracks stopped hiding. Marcus's startup collapsed, investors disappeared, and suddenly the brilliant vision he once spoke about so confidently was replaced by excuses. The market was wrong, the timing was bad, his partner betrayed him. I held him while he cried, told him we would figure it out together, even when I found out he had quietly accumulated $30,000 in debt. Debt I paid off without a fight, because love is patient and marriage is supposed to be forgiving. Year 3 arrived with another idea, then another, each one needing seed money, each one needing faith. I wrote the checks. I believed the promises. Every company failed within months. Meanwhile, my career soared. I made partner at my firm. My income crossed $300,000 a year, and suddenly I was carrying everything: the penthouse, the lifestyle, the illusion that we were building something together. Marcus was bringing home nothing but stories. By year 4, he stopped pretending. No office, no schedule, just golf courses disguised as networking, business lunches that stretched into late dinners, designer clothes bought on my credit card because looking successful mattered more than actually being successful. I should have left then. But my mother's voice lived in my head, telling me that marriage required patience, that good men sometimes lost their way, that love meant staying when things got hard. Then came the text message. It was a Tuesday evening. Marcus left his phone on the kitchen counter while he showered. A notification lit up the screen. Sophia Chen, with a heart next to her name. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow, baby. Wear the shirt I bought you." My hands started shaking. I scrolled, each message cutting deeper than the last. 6 months of lies. 6 months of "I love you. You're the only one who understands me." And the sentence that finally broke me: "As soon as I get my share of the divorce, we'll be set for life." I searched her name. Instagram influencer, 200,000 followers, curated luxury, perfect smiles. And there it was. On her wrist, in one of her recent posts, my mother's Cartier watch. The one I thought I had misplaced 3 months earlier. My chest burned. My throat closed. I wanted to scream, to smash his phone, to drag him out of the shower and demand answers. Instead, I took screenshots, sent them to my email, placed his phone back exactly where it was. That night, he slept beside me peacefully, while I stared at the ceiling, realizing something terrifying. This wasn't just betrayal. This was theft, calculated, deliberate, and already planned, and I was done being blind. That night, sleep never came. Marcus lay beside me, breathing slow and steady, one arm resting across my waist like a claim, like nothing had changed. His phone sat on the nightstand, dark, silent, harmless-looking. I stared at the ceiling, replaying every message I had read, every word he had typed to her, every promise he had made to me while planning a life without me. 6 months. 6 months of "I love you." 6 months of "You're the only one who understands me." 6 months of planning to take half of everything I had built. My chest felt tight, like the air itself was heavy. I thought about the prenup he had convinced me to destroy on our first anniversary. He had laughed when I hesitated, told me it was romantic to trust each other completely. "We're partners," he said. "Why bring lawyers into love?" I remembered how proud I had felt, how grown, how chosen. Now I understood what that moment really was. By morning, the sadness had sharpened into something colder, clearer. I didn't confront him. I didn't ask questions I already knew the answers to. I watched him make coffee, kiss my cheek, complain about traffic, all while my mind moved 3 steps ahead of him. I called Helen, my college roommate, the woman who had once slept on my couch during finals week, who now happened to be one of the most respected family law attorneys in Washington state. When she answered, I didn't waste time. "I need help," I said quietly, "and I need you to keep this between us." That afternoon, I sat in her office and showed her everything. The messages, the screenshots, the financial records, the photo of my mother's watch on Sophia's wrist. Helen's face changed slowly, professionally, but her eyes gave her away. "This isn't just infidelity," she said finally. "This is planning." Without the prenup, she explained, Marcus could claim half of nearly everything if he argued that our assets were intertwined. The word could echoed in my mind, sharp and dangerous. "But only if we let him," she added. Her strategy wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet, patient, surgical. Make him comfortable, make him confident, let him believe he was smarter than everyone else. So I became an actress in my own marriage. I smiled through dinners. I listened to his complaints. I documented every expense, every transfer, every lie. I installed cameras disguised as smoke detectors, video only, clean and legal. Watching the footage hurt, but it also clarified everything. I saw Marcus bring Sophia into my home, saw them open my drawers, laugh, touch things they had no right to. I saw her wear my jewelry, my mother's jewelry, and joke that I'd never notice. When my mother's paintings vanished from the walls, something inside me cracked, but it didn't break. It hardened. I stood in that empty room and made myself a promise. If he believed he was winning, he would never see the end coming. The footage broke something inside me. Marcus and Sophia in my home, walking freely through rooms built with my money, my sweat, my mother's sacrifices. They opened my closet, laughed at my clothes, tried on my jewelry like it was costume pieces. I watched Sophia lift my mother's pearl earrings to her ears, turn toward the mirror, smiling, asking Marcus if she looked expensive enough. Then I saw the paintings, my mother's paintings, one by one, lifted off the walls, wrapped carelessly, carried out to Sophia's car like meaningless decor. When I came home that night and saw the empty spaces, the silence hit harder than any scream. I called Marcus, my voice shaking just enough to sound believable. "Have you seen my mom's paintings?" "Oh, those old things," he said casually. "I donated them. They were depressing." Depressing. That word echoed in my chest. Those paintings were her hands, her dreams, her love left behind for me. I locked myself in the bathroom and cried without sound, the kind of crying that hurts your ribs, the kind that empties you. Then I wiped my face, fixed my makeup, and continued. The document Helen prepared looked harmless. A simple acknowledgement of minor asset division during separation. Buried inside was the truth, a clause where Marcus confirmed he had received full and final compensation, waiving all future claims. Getting him to sign it was easy. 3 weeks ago, he came to me confident, smug. "I want the penthouse," he said, "half your partnership and spousal support." I pretended to argue, to cry, to break. "Fine," I said softly. "But sign this first. My lawyer says it's a formality." He didn't read a word. 3 days later, I signed my papers, placed my keys on the table, and walked out without looking back. The next morning, everything collapsed for him. The smart home no longer recognized his voice. The Tesla wouldn't start. His cards declined. Building management informed him, politely, that his name was never on the ownership documents. Meanwhile, the police were knocking on Sophia's door. My security footage showed everything. They recovered the watch, the earrings, the ring, the paintings, all leaning against her wall like stolen trophies. Her influencer life unraveled in hours. Brands disappeared. Followers vanished. Reality arrived. Marcus was served next. Civil charges, theft, fraud, restitution. His own attorney screamed at him, asking how he signed away everything without reading. He called me 17 times. I didn't answer. I sat in a quiet hotel room, glass of champagne in my hand, watching the city breathe. 6 weeks later, the divorce was final. Marcus walked away with nothing, less than nothing, owing money, owing explanations. Sophia pleaded guilty. The paintings came home. Last week, I rehung them myself. I placed my mother's watch back in the safe, next to her letter, the one that still reminds me who I am. I cried for the marriage I believed in, for the years I gave, for the woman I used to be. Then I stood up. I wasn't cruel. I was thorough. I didn't seek revenge. I stopped protecting him from consequences. And without me, he fell. Now, every morning, I wake up in my penthouse, drink my coffee, and stand beneath my mother's art. That's not revenge. That's justice.